Welcome back to Korea.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, first thing first, can you introduce yourself and what you do for people watching this video?
Everett Kamin, and I'm an investment director at a multifamily office as well as a board member. It's Gemini Capital Partners, investing in late-stage healthcare services companies such as generic drug manufacturing facilities, contract research organizations, and medical device and distribution supply companies. And then we have a earlier stage investment side, which is more of a fund structure, and we're investing in medical devices and digital health companies, and those would be seed to Series A, but a global mandate, so we're not constrained by any jurisdictions or whatnot. We're more just focusing on the technologies that are disruptive, that are democratizing healthcare, so that these type of solutions can be accessed by anywhere on the global stage and not just advanced Western economies.
I understand healthcare in Korea is huge and it's a big thing, and compared to American healthcare and Korean healthcare, what's the biggest difference?
Well, I mean, as of this year, the Korean government has earmarked $23 billion to be spent on 3 priority industries by 2030, and the number one on that list is healthcare. So we believe that the amount of money that's going into it, the amount of focus on precision medicine and the gene mapping that Korea is at the forefront of, as well as other parts of the industry that they're at the forefront of, which is algorithm and AI for early oncology detection or neurological disorder detection, such as stroke or aneurysms, as well as stem cell and regenerative therapies that Korea is really heavily involved in and is at the forefront of in technological advancements. Mm-hmm. And those are the main areas where I think that there's a lot of room to grow. But of course, there's the inherent technologies. Most of the AI chipsets for most of the CT, MRI, and CAT scan images that we're using today in Western world come from Korea.
Wow.
Some of the biggest, most dominant players in the imaging space are Samsung, Korean-born company.
So, what do you expect from Korea or Korean partners next 5 years or the next 3 years?
Well, the next 3 years, due to the amount of funding and the amount of government support, as well as the top-notch engineers and students coming out of the country, we see that funding will hit these very, very talented founders with deep domain expertise, and we're going to see a lot of these, digital health, medical device startups. You've already got, 2 companies that started here and have already raised $200 million and are now the best companies at what they do, attacking the U.S. market in healthcare.
Okay.
And that's just 2 recent cases. There's many more coming.
It seems like you have a good perspective and kind of insightful as well, and both the American and Korean healthcare market. And what do you say or what do you give advice to Korean stakeholders to try to do something with you or with the Gemini Capital Partners? What do you say?
Well, I mean, we're always interested in having great dialogue with talented people. As well as expanding our connectivity within the ecosystem of healthcare. There's nothing ever lost from learning or broadening our I would say reach. So when it comes to any of our partners or stakeholders, we're always open to conversations, partnerships, co-investments, and new disruptive ideas via founders who want to change the world.
And when it comes to fund of funds or LPs, is it the same? It works same?
Absolutely. I mean, I've been in the family office world for 15 years myself, so very tied into the family office and LP ecosystem, as well as state pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, high net worth individuals, etc. And on the fund-to-fund side, I would say that we wouldn't have great exposure to them because we usually work with the companies directly.
Right.
But if there would be a sector-specific fund to funds that would focus on healthcare, that would be a faster route to market for us to, I would say, have many touch points within one sector within the country, and we're happy to have those conversations.
Makes sense. And now let's move on to questions for Fosterbridge. Mm-hmm. And 1 to 10, what score would you give to Fosterbridge?
Wow, putting me on the spot. Well, the spot. I mean, I would say that for a first-time event and all the complexities that come with it, 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. And, you know, in terms of what you guys were able to put together in terms of the ecosystem, the partners, both on the government level, the private level, the fund level, and the strategic partnership level, it was great. I got to meet people from government initiatives who are deploying into healthcare, state-run banking systems that are also deploying into healthcare impact in other sectors. I got to meet founders in healthcare. I got to meet funds who allocate to healthcare. I got to meet other family offices that we have potential opportunities to co-invest with. So, I mean, for us, it was a very fruitful, I would say, participation, and we're looking forward to the Fosterbridge ecosystem growing and being more efficient, and you know, the next stage at which it takes place.
Then what should I do to get the 8.55 or 9 from you, and to have you next 25 and 26? What should I do?
More regimented, perhaps schedules. I would say more fireside chats, more panels, perhaps more Q&A from the audience instead of just consistent pitching. Because when you know you have all these people that are pitching on stage and there's no audience interaction, it becomes kind of washed out.
Right.
And you don't get that you know, I would say that fire of like banter back and forth, and then when somebody says something interesting, you don't really have the chance to expand on that because the next person's already on stage. So I would say more audience interaction, more fireside chats and panels, and then a little bit more of advance notice on some of the activities so that we can be more targeted and efficient with the, I would say, the one-to-ones and the strategic meetings. But again, this is all stuff that happens for the first time. I assume many of the attendees and the ecosystem partners signed on last minute, or it was hard to get them on board. So, you know, in the next years when they're already familiar with Fosterbridge and what it does and what value it brings, it'll be much easier to get them on earlier, so it'll be that much easier for everybody to schedule everything earlier, and it'll be that much more efficient.
Cool.
So that would be my biggest area for improvement.
Cool. Thanks for your feedback.
Sure.
I will keep it in mind.
Sure. And what would you like to see from us as ecosystem providers that can actually?
I just want you to. I just want you guys to be like more busy, and like checking your watch all the time. Just run to this point to that point.
Don't want or we want?
I want you to be guys more busy.
More busy. Yeah. Well, I can certainly say that I was very busy. But like I said, it could have been more efficient in terms of like, exactly. I think that if we can start to have a little bit more of a, one thing I noticed was that there was a lot of ecosystem participation where there could have been more clustered focuses.
Right.
So, you know, whether it's a healthcare track, an ESG track, energy renewal track, an impact track,
right.
You know, consumer tech track. I mean, you can design it so you have different pathways for each one of the tracks, so that the people that are in that ecosystem could be matched up with the people who want to talk to them more specifically. Even on the judging panels, I think there should always be interactive. It shouldn't be like the judging panel that we just had versus the first day. The first day there was interactive questions. I think panelists can build off of each other, and they can think of other questions based on one of their contemporaries' questions. When it's just a quiet grading system, there's a lot of time. Again, things get washed out because you're just going next, and there's no time for, I would say, internalization of thought.
Right. Thanks for your feedback.
Sure.
This is like a last question, or maybe just comment for you, and any message or any comment for your family or business partners and colleagues.
I would say to my family, hi mom. As I always say, I always I'm thankful for my parents who brought me here, and my parents who are not around anymore, and they were part of the reason why I got into healthcare in the first place, was to prevent people to avoid the choices and limited options that I had in healthcare as a child. And that's why I ended up starting my career overseas, to see what the best technologies were all over the world. And some of them were coming out of Korea, and that's why I ended up here. So if it wasn't for the opportunities and challenges that I had as a child that my family had given me, I would have never been to Korea. And then to my business partners, I thank them for giving me the opportunity and chance, and taking a chance on me nearly 30 years ago in Korea, when I was nothing but an apprentice, and giving me a shot for somebody who was motivated, hungry, and determined to learn as much as I could. And now 30 years later, I'm doing the same thing by mentoring, training, and bringing other people in the ecosystem up. So it's a virtuous cycle, and I thank everybody along the way.
Yeah, that's it for today, and good to have you back in Korea.
No, always. Yeah. Thank you, Jay. Thank you very much.
No
and thank
worries.
you very much, Fosterbridge.
Have a good one.
Thank you.